one disease. Millions of lives permanently disrupted. Today, there are over 5 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. But Alzheimer's is taking more than memories. It's taking lives. What few realize is that Alzheimer's kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. And Alzheimer's is the only disease in the top 10 causes of death that can't be slowed, stopped, or prevented. From 2000 to 2013, while deaths from other diseases decreased significantly, Alzheimer's deaths increased 71%. But equally disturbing, many living with Alzheimer's say they are not being told their diagnosis. While more than 90% of people with the most common types of cancer say they are told their diagnosis, only 45% of people with Alzheimer's or their caregivers say they are told. The economic toll is staggering too. In 2015, it will cost the nation $226 billion to care for people with Alzheimer's. By 2030, 72 million baby boomers will reach an age of greater risk. The fact is, everyone's at risk for Alzheimer's, even you. But everyone can help, especially you. We're the Alzheimer's Association, the brains behind saving yours. Join us.
Hello, my name is Blake Bozette.
I'm Maddie Weaver.
I'm Matthew Campbell.
I'm Anthony Waltier, and we are
Upper Tier Assisted Living.
Hello, Venture Inc. We're Upper Tier Assisted Living, and I'm going to give you kind of a scope of what our specialty is. Obviously, we are a retirement home that focuses on severe patients with Alzheimer's and dementia. We provide 24-hour service, and that's one of our key things is that we're located in Coeur d'Alene, next to the lake. Some of the advantages include that we're in the heart of the inland northwest, so we have Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, these two larger cities in the area, larger client base for our company, along with we have a nice location, and that allows for our clients to have an active lifestyle with supervision, along with our clients' families to do something when they're there. They have the lake along with the resort, which is right down the road, so it's best of both worlds. When we're looking at, we have some of competitors include Riverview Retirement and Fairview Assisted Living Inc. That's in the Spokane area, and then in the Coeur d'Alene area we have Legends Park and Assisted Living, and these are all assisted living areas that have Alzheimer's wings and that can compete with us. So that's kind of our main competitors. Maddie's going to kind of describe to us some of our generic strategy and our SWOT analysis.
So as Upper Tier Assisted Living, we're going to be focusing on cost differentiation, and I'm going to go ahead and break that down with our SWOT analysis. So beginning with our strengths, as Matt was talking about, we're going to be kind of more of an upper end assisted living. So we're going to have a strong target market just based on our location. Being in downtown Coeur d'Alene, we're able to target both in Washington and Coeur d'Alene. Also, because we're focusing on Alzheimer's patients, we're going to be able to focus directly to them when they don't, in the area, they don't actually have another retirement home just for them. There are segments with others such as Rockwood, but they don't actually have just a designated Alzheimer's retirement home. In addition, there's future reassurance for other patients that are going to be in the area, or people that maybe have the signs of Alzheimer's as they're continuing to grow up and they develop more symptoms. They're going to have a place to be, and that's kind of reassuring to them. And as he was saying, our location is prime. We are right next to the Coeur d'Alene Resort. That's great, so our families that come and visit, they can stay there, and it also allows us to take our patients out and walk them around. There's a park, there's a beach, there's different shopping areas, there's plenty of restaurants. So they're not going to be trapped in just a rural area or other places where many retirements are located in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Going on to our weaknesses, as we kind of already discussed, we're going to be kind of a higher cost. This may scare a little bit of people away. However, if we can push that we're promoting for Alzheimer's, then that may be able to bring more people in. Our training costs are always going to be high because we're going to have to really focus on making sure our staff is pretty well acquainted. There are always liability, assurance costs, and the initial competition. We're going to have to really focus hard on bringing people in, people that maybe are unaware or wondering why we're just focusing on Alzheimer's patients. Going on to our opportunities, as we continue to grow, one of the great things about it is we can bring a pharmacy in. It'll be great because the people that are there, we won't have to travel out to get their necessary medications. If we have a pharmacy on site, then it'll be easy access. It also brings more awareness to the community. As kind of our initial video talked about, not a lot of people are aware of Alzheimer's. They don't know what the disease kind of is about. They don't know how it's actually a bigger deal as it's continuing to increase. By us having this, we're able to promote awareness to the community that they may not even have known about. Another thing is, as our baby boomer generation is retiring, they're going to be a greater need for retirement homes, and we're going to be able to promote us as a business as they continue to retire as a place to go if they're struggling with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. Last but not least, we have our threats, which as the economy, it kind of depends on the economy. If our economy decreases and goes down, we are going to be experiencing a decline in the number of patients as people are going to be able to afford it less. And people are also going to have to be retiring at a later age. We're also pretty limited on cost cutting. We're really focused on having our staff really well trained, so we're not going to be able to cut costs there. So our cost cutting is going to be very limited on what we can and can't do. And so thus, if we do need to cut costs, it's really going to hit us hard.
So like we mentioned earlier, we're a small business, so we don't require as much organizational structure because larger firms need to do so. With that said, with our vertical structure, we kind of have a floor staff plan where we have the personal care assistants along with doctors and registered nurses. So those are the first kind of level of our organization. The second level, we'll be looking at our managers. That's where our floor staff kind of reports the day-to-day duties to managers, where they can decide on further information, further decisions to make. Then after the managers, we also have the partners we managers report to. So that's kind of our vertical structure. That's how things kind of roll in our business. And then also the spatial part of our organization, we're all located in Coeur d'Alene. So except for our recruiting policy, we hire an outside recruiter, and they are in Spokane. But besides that, all of our operations is located in Coeur d'Alene. So that's kind of our first two bullets right there. And one of the key things we want to harp on is we want our employees to be empowered and be very versatile. We don't want any formalization of our staff. They don't do one duty over and over again. There's some small stuff they do, but we want them to be very versatile. Our patients are human beings, and there's going to be different stuff every day, so we have to make sure our employees know how to do various stuffs in various situations. Also, a lot to do with turnover. Employees feel like they don't have say in the organization, especially with personal care assistants, and so we want to make them a part of the process of deciding how do we treat our patients, because they're with them all the time. So that's key for our personal care assistants, that they have this employee versatility and empowerment. Also, we will look at who makes the decision in our firm. Obviously, we're going to point to the managers / partners on that decision for the big decisions. But with that said, we want to also include the floor staff, because they're also part of our business. They're with our patients 24/7, and we want their say for the big decisions. And that's will also help employees feel that they're a part of this organization. We're investing into them, and they're more than just kind of players in our organization. We care for them as well. The next step we're going to look at is kind of looking at our job design, and Blake's going to kind of take it from there.
So the people that will make or break our business is our personal care assistants. These are the people that will be spending majority of the time with the residents. So these are great people to have. We're really looking at character when we look at these people. They spend all of the time with our residents, so it's very important to have them. As far as the essential job functions that they need to have, the first one I want to talk about is giving medication and taking notes. It's very important that we have employees that we can trust and depend on. You know, there's times when residents are going to need assistance, and it's very important that our caregivers are people that we can trust. There's also a ton of liability with giving medication and things like that. So we're going to have a system in place to where they can check in and check out on the computer or something like that to really make sure that we're accurate with how we give drugs, because that's going to be super important. And also they're going to have to like take notes and things about as far as their interactions with the residents. So, you know, if somebody comes up with a rash on their elbow or something like that, it's very important that our PCAs write that down and communicate that to the next person in line, so we take the right steps to really take care of that. And then the next thing I want to talk about is keeping house and preparing meals. So this is things like laundry, you know, there's washing dishes, tidying patients' rooms. All these things are very important. And also for preparing meals, it's basically in our business like we're going to have a restaurant essentially. So you know, it's important that we have good cooks that can really dial in, and also there's nutritional needs for the elderly. So you know, that's something that they also have to look into, the nutritional things that they can and cannot eat. If you know, something will make somebody allergic, then that's something that obviously we want to stay away from. Next, transportation and running errands. So there's very many different errands that we could ask a PCA to take. We could ask them to go pick up some drugs from a pharmacy to get to our patients. Also transportation, so we have to have employees that we can trust, because like I said, there's a lot of liability involved. So you know, if you're taking a resident out, you know, obviously a background check or something like that's going to be important. But transportation and running errands, I don't know if I said this earlier, but definitely like taking them to the hospital, that's important. That's part of transportation, and that's something that will also be in one of our essential job functions. And then also our physical, social, emotional interaction. You know, we don't just want these people to go in there and look at it as a job. We want them to really interact with our residents and build relationships. You know, it is an Alzheimer's place, so it can be discouraging for the employees at times. Our PCAs, it can be discouraged. But we really want them to bond with our residents, and I think that's really important as far as our focus in our organization. So that's very valuable, bonding with these people, socially interacting with them. It's all very important, so that's something that we're really going to focus on at upper tier assisted living. So this is this is what we would look for if we were looking for a position, maybe for our central job function or a personal care assistant. I'm going to read maybe a job opening, what the description would look like right here. So as far as the description goes, we'd say we're looking for somebody to create a meaningful relationship in people's lives as a personal care assistant. This position is responsible for providing personal care and designated health-related services to maintain the resident's physical and emotional well-being. Upper Tier Assisted Living is a memory care certified home health agency with strong connections throughout the community. So that's something that we might post when we're looking for a specific position. As far as our KSAOs, knowledge, skills, abilities, and other. So as far as knowledge goes, customer and personal service. So this is knowledge of principles and processes for providing customer service and evaluation, and also customer service. Also the English language. It's very important that we have people that can communicate with our residents very well, and a background of the English language and some knowledge on it is very important for us. And also psychology, so knowledge of human behavior and performance, things of that sort. And then for skills, social perspectiveness, active listening. It's very important that our PCAs listen to the residents in our assisted living. You know, if they have a complaint, we always want our residents to feel comfortable and in a place where they feel best. So if they're talking to our PCAs, it's important that they can take in the knowledge and take in what they're saying and take necessary action. Also monitoring, so monitoring vitals, different things like that, always looking for things to help out with the assisted living. Also critical thinking, so sometimes as a PCA you're going to be put in tough situations. So critical thinking, if somebody falls, you need to be able to act on your feet and take necessary action to really get on that and focus on that as an organization. Also instructing, so not just instructing residents on the whereabouts or how to do things or helping them with eating and things like that, but also instructing our other employees. We are always coaching, we're always developing people in our organization, shooting for that mission and our goal of our organization. And we care deeply and passionately, not only for our employees, but also for our residents. And judgment and decision making. So like I said earlier, if somebody falls, they break a hip, you got to be quick on your feet and make sure that you have the ability to make the prior judgments and decision making that you need to make. And it's our training methods and our procedures that are going to be put in place that will really help with this. As far as abilities go, so like oral comprehension, the ability to listen and understand information and ideas presented. Oral expression, it's important that you express how you feel and things like that, and to communicate information to residents, to the people above you, and all sorts for our assisted living. Problem sensitivity, so there's many times where residents can feel very vulnerable, say like pooping or peeing their pants. Like that's something that's really you got to take to heart, and you can't make them feel, you can't talk down to them at all if they do something like that. It kind of goes with the territory with Alzheimer's people and elderly people. Those things are going to happen, so sometimes they're going to feel vulnerable, but it's really important to take into consideration what's really going on there and be really good with problem sensitivity. Also speech clarity, like I said, communicating is so important, so it's something that you can work on. Also, many of these people, the residents, they're hard on hearing. So with speech clarity, it's enunciating your words and really making sense what you're saying and communicating that to them. Also inductive and deductive reasoning. So as far as deductive reasoning, the ability to apply general rules to specific problems and produce an answer with that. And as far as inductive reasoning, the ability to combine pieces of information to form general rules, things of that nature. So those are both really important things that we need to have as our PCAs and our central job function. And then as far as our other, we always want to ask for enthusiasm out of our employees. I've always found that if you do everything with passion and you really follow your heart, that you will be successful. And that's something that we're going to preach to our PCAs. It's something that we're going to preach to our cooks. They do provide different functions as far as what they do. But for the most part, we want everybody in our organization to act with enthusiasm and passion. Also with common sense. There's things that you can and cannot do with the employees and also with the residents. You need to respect their territory. There's times where they're really going to open up to you and you need to respect them and take to heart what they're saying and maybe keep it to yourself. But if it is something that needs to be relayed to higher management, then that's something that you could also do. And also just respect is always so important. Respecting all, this is from top to bottom. You need to have respect for the people next to you and the people that you're taking care of. And that's part of the common sense thing as well. And also it's a discrimination-free work zone. So everything we do, we will not discriminate. We really are strong on equality in our organization. And I think that's what's really going to lead to the success of our organization at Upper Tier Assisted Living.
As the video mentioned earlier in our project, these next few decades, the baby boomer generation is going to be aging. And with that, there's going to be way more need of personal care aides in general. This next 10 years will be 666,000 more jobs. So we're obviously going to be fighting for these employees. We want the best of the best, and other firms will be fighting for us. So recruiting is going to be an essential process of our business. Also, in our business, there's high turnover rates. Obviously, we want to keep our employees because they're an investment with training costs. but that's just a whole nother topic. But with our recruiting, we realize that we're not necessarily the best way we can find our employees. We don't have all this research and technology to find what we want. So we were going to hire an outside recruitment firm called Express Employment Professionals. And these guys, they've been awarded the 2014 Best Staffing Client Award winners. And they've also earned the 2014 Best Staffing Diamond Award winners for achieving the highest quality scores. And these guys are located in Spokane. Obviously, we want to pick a high-quality firm to give us the best quality candidates. Also, when we're looking for our candidates, we want at least 30 or more applicants we can choose. And obviously, when we choose that, it's the selection process, which we'll talk about later. And along with that, looking at how our outside recruiting firm is doing and our candidates, we want to look at to evaluate our choice of the firm. New hire turnover and new hire performance. Obviously, these are going to be huge factors in our business because we're a service-based business, and we want to see how our new candidates are doing, how long they stay with us, and how they do in our business. These are two crucial factors with our candidates. So this is our recruiting plan, and obviously Maggie's going to talk about how our selection process is involved with our employees.
Following recruitment, we have selection, and we're going through our selection process. Once the recruiter finds a good amount of applicants, they're going to bring them to us, and we're going to start out with beginning with a preliminary interview. And this is basically, we can either do a phone interview, or we can bring them in the office, and it's just going over just the basic questions on kind of touching on their resume and maybe why they're interested in this position. Next, we're going to have the personality test. And this is really important because there obviously is going to be certain personalities that fit this job better than others. For example, we're going to start with an NEO personality test to kind of touch on the 5 basic personality types. And what we're kind of looking for is, on the biggest ones would be someone that's conscientious. We want someone who is extremely dependable and who's going to show up for work and that we can trust. We also want someone who's agreeable, someone who wants to be on our team, a part of who we are as a company. And then emotionally stable is a really big one because there's going to be a lot of stress that comes with this job. And anyone who has very high anxiety or is extremely vulnerable to stress is not going to fit very well when you're dealing with Alzheimer's patients who maybe aren't going to remember your name, aren't going to remember who you are the next day or even a few hours later. That's going to take a toll on the person that's working. And if we have somebody that has really high anxiety, it's not going to be the best fit for us and for them. In addition, for an extrovert, we want someone who's outgoing. Obviously, there are definitely benefits to people that are introverted, but when you're more of an extrovert, you have more of the ability to go out and reach out to, especially our patients and other fellow coworkers, and bond with them and build strong relationships. Next, after taking the personality test, if we feel that they're a great fit, we're going to bring them in for a structured interview. And touching on the structured interview, it's going to be something. For example, tell me about a time when you found yourself in a conflict with another coworker and how you dealt with that. And going over, we have kind of our different responses, what we would be looking for. A 5-point response is something like, I explained it to the coworker or superior that I understood where they were coming from, or I could see why they believed they were right. I listened to their point of view and thought they were right. Then I explained them my point of view and helped them to understand. So on and so on. A 3-point response is going to be something like, I told the coworker they were mistaken and I explained how I was correct. And then the last one is basically not giving any type of a response. I told them that they were wrong and why I was right. And this is going to be really important because with a structured interview, it's great to see how these applicants are going to be dealing with real situations, and we're going to want someone that's going to handle them well and perform well. After that, a drug test and a background check are extremely necessary, although we realize that applicants are going to feel that this is going to be hard for them because it may be an invasion of their privacy. Having a drug test is extremely, extremely important because if we're having somebody that's doing drugs or has a criminal record, they're not going to be able to be around narcotics of the patients, and that's going to be a huge liability for us. So for them to pass a drug test is going to be one of our biggest requirements. And last, obviously, is just our decision. We're going to look for a really well-rounded applicant, and basing on all of those factors and their personality and how they answer the structured interview, if they gave great 5-star responses, and if they're able to obviously pass their background check and their drug tests, and then they're going to be a great fit.
So for our job design approach, we will be using a motivational approach, and this makes sense with our company. The more motivated our employees are, the better results we will see. If they're motivated and want to come to work and build relationships with our residents, they're going to be more successful. So that's why we're going to use a motivational approach.
So what kind of Blake was getting at, that the motivational approach in our employees, this idea was also accepted in our compensation area when we thought about this. One of the first things, our employees are assets, they're people. They provide the quality of service through our motivation. Also, we want to add another level to this, which is going to be our compensation part. And our compensation is going to be a little bit based off the motivational, but also more towards the expectancy theory, which I'll kind of wrap it up at the end. But again, our employees are assets, we got to reward them and keep them here. One of the key things is that we obviously offer a larger base pay than any other company or competitor. We offer $13 an hour compared to the national average of 9.83. This already alone is a key incentive for our employees to, stay with us and realize that we reward their quality service. Another part is that supplemental lump sum bonuses are also a key driving force in keeping our employees high quality of service. We have a performance review every month, and also at the end of the year we decide whether, based off these performance reviews, if the employees require or actually deserve a 1325 bonus. So this is keeping our employees honest, on their toes, and always performing, because this pay is not secured, it's based off performance. And also we want to mention that our employees, this is a high stress job for personal care assistants, and that we want to give them as much benefits as possible. We want them allowed to use our fitness facilities at our place. Working out and keeping fit obviously helps with the job. Also, we have more vacation days than the average. We have 25 days. The average has 21 days, so obviously there's 4 more days. That makes up for the stress that a lot of our employees have. We want to give them more time off. Of these days, 12 of them are paid. Also, medical insurance stipend for full-time employees. We want to give them a stipend each month based off whatever medical needs they can spend on how they feel. And lastly, we have expense-free vacation at the Coeur d'Alene Resort. These 3 days that we're expense-free at the resort are part of our 15 days of vacation, so it's incorporated. The employee can use it for themselves or their families. We like our partnership with the resort, and so we want to incorporate our employees with this partnership and reward them with these kind of benefits. Also, another key one is educational payment. We give them $2,500 for further advancement of their career, secondary education, or certification. So this is we're trying to give the idea to our employees. We care for them. We want them to grow as individuals, and this is how we're going to show that. And also a part of that is we require them to stay for another year based off if they use this educational bonus of $2,500. Obviously, if we give them more money to train, we want them to be part of our corporation. We don't want to just let them $2,500 and just leave. We want them to stay with us. And kind of wrap this all up, expectancy theory, we thought this is really good with our compensation because we provide our employees through our training with proper skills to give quality service, and so we're not just throwing them out there. And then with these skills, we give them goals where they can pursue. And if they do these goals, it's a clear path, and we provide them compensation for meeting these goals. So expectancy theory does really good with our compensation setup.
Here at Upper Tier Assisted Living, performance management is definitely one of our important topics. Just because we are a customer service based company, we take the utmost care with our clients, and so performance appraisals are definitely important to us. Monthly meetings between management and employees, our personal care aides especially, will act as performance appraisals. However, the personal care aides are not restricted to those once-a-month meetings. They can schedule when they feel necessary with our management so that they feel that communication is as open and often as they need it to be. At Upper Tier, the client is the most important aspect of our business, like I mentioned. So with this in mind, our personal care aides must provide the best and most understanding care for our clients. So we definitely hold them to high standards and far-reaching, sometimes, goals so that they can offer the best care that they can to our clients. Critical incidents are definitely the best way for us to appraise performance with our employees, with our PCAs. Those will be assessed with video cameras in our common areas and cafeterias so that when a critical incident does arise, our management and the employee who was involved are able to go back and watch how they handled that and how they could do better so that we can continue to provide the best care possible. In performance appraisals and throughout our business, great behavior and conscientiousness while completing the tasks are of vital importance so that our clients feel like they're being respected, our clients' families feel like their family members are being respected, and it just means a lot when you can respect somebody who cannot function on the same level as you can. And then, what great behavior is classified as? We have a scale of 5 on behavioral performance appraisals for those critical incidents and for the behavior in general. So a 5 rating is above and beyond handling of a critical incident by an employee, and the PCA follows all procedures and correct behaviors and shows empathy and enthusiasm throughout the process of the critical incident and their job. A 3 rating is when an employee is meeting minimal standards, so they're covering all bases, maybe not going above and beyond, but they're doing what needs to be done to get their job done and to follow procedures. And then a 1 rating is reserved for employees who are underperforming or struggling with their job. We don't like to see those 1s in our employees, but if they do arise, we institute employee action plans that we can help our personal care aides get to where they need to be, which we would ideally have all of our PCAs at a 5. And so we just continue to work to provide our clients the best care, and our performance management is key in that process. Achieving excellence is definitely part of our motto here at Upper Tier Assisted Living. And we are aware that caring for Alzheimer's disease takes experience and training. And so we only hire the best certified personal care aides. That's how we're able to boast about our superior care. And those certified personal care aides are vital to that part of our care. We pay for the necessary certifications and development for our PCAs. And as a top-notch Alzheimer's care home, we strive to make it the easiest we possibly can for our PCAs to achieve that development and training that they need. And so our company pays for renewals of certifications for PCAs, as well as any training that is necessary for their job. The way that we provide incentive to stay at our company while paying for the necessary training is that we do require our employees to stay for a year after any training or development that has been paid for by Upper Tier is completed. And then we are aware of the stress that is placed on our employees, and it's of the utmost importance that our PCAs take care of themselves. So we offer counselor sessions with the counselors that we work with for our clients to our PCAs that they are able to schedule once a month, so that if they need to talk about any grief or loss or how to deal with the difficulties that come with dealing with Alzheimer's patients, they have those counselors and therapists that they can talk to and keep their mind right. And the Alzheimer's Association talks about 3 main areas that PCAs need to take care of, and they talk about seeing the doctor, getting moving and eating well, And so those are three things that we continue to urge our employees to do, because if our employees are not able-bodied and able-minded, then they're not going to be able to take care of our patients, who is the most important aspect of our business.
In addition to bringing in our employees, one of the things that we want to make sure to do is maintain their happiness. It's great that we have them, but if we lose them quickly, then what's the point? To begin, we want to be awareness of how they're feeling. Awareness of work attitudes is extremely important. How would they rate their satisfaction? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be passing around satisfaction surveys maybe once a year, maybe less, depending on how things are going. And we want them to be honest with us. We want them to have that open door of telling us how it's going for them, what we can improve on, and things that maybe they're struggling with that we're unaware. Obviously, we try to achieve excellence in every other aspect of them, but if we're not able to achieve it on ourselves and we're not able to improve ourselves, then what's the point of keeping them, and why would they want to stay? We also need to let them know that we care. It's all about the communication and letting them know that they can come talk to us whenever there's a problem, not just through the satisfaction surveys, not through just having the performance appraisals, but just having them to be able to come to us and know that they have an environment that's opening and welcoming. We also want to manage organizational commitment. There are three things. There are people that want to stay because they have to, because they want to, and then just because they feel an obligation. But we always want them to stay. We don't want them to stay because they have to. And I think that's the problem with a lot of work, is people are staying there because they have to just pay the bills. But rather, this is a place that we want them to come to work every day and feel accepted and get excited about coming to a place that has open arms and that is excited to have them.
All right, as far as parting ways with our employees, it all starts with our selection process. So if we hire better employees, then we will reduce our turnover, right? If our selection procedures are really good, then we shouldn't have to worry about all the incidents that will occur and the termination of an employee. Unfortunately, we're humans by nature, and we mess up and we make mistakes. So we will have a 3-strike method at upper tier assisted living. All of the incidents will be reported to our HR person, who will decide if they will document that incident or if they will choose to just verbally talk with the employee about the situation that occurred. But obviously there's going to be minor and major incidents. So with a minor incident, it could be something like not folding the laundry. Maybe that's not a big deal, but maybe that's something that another employee or somebody else could coach them up on. And I'm sure if we discuss that with the employee, then it wouldn't be a big deal. On the other hand, if you donkey kick grandma in the neck, that's a major incident. If you verbally abuse her, that's obviously another incident too. Those are major incidents that those will be a 1-strike basis. But for the most part, we're always going to be coaching and developing our employees. We understand that mistakes are going to be made. And if we have that attitude with our employees, then I think they're going to be much more motivated to produce high results for our company and to not slack off and to not verbally abuse anybody or things like that. Obviously, those things should never happen in our organization. So if it does, they're going to be out pretty dang quick. And then lastly, I put up here, we build deeply into the people of our organization. So on their way out, if it does come to it and we have to terminate an employee, these are people that we build relationships with. So, if we terminate somebody, then maybe we'll say, hey, I'm going to look for you. We obviously have a lot of relationships and networks in the assisted living business. So, maybe we can point them in a different direction for work for themselves, because we understand that people, they build their living on this. So, as they do on their exit meetings, if we terminate an employee, we're going to make sure to look for other work for them. But obviously we don't want to part ways in summary, but it's going to happen, and it's something that you have to deal with. But we're going to treat all employees with respect when we do this. But it starts with our selection process, and if we hire the best employees, then hopefully we don't have to deal with the separation and parting ways with our employees.